Hey everyone. Well, today I'm coming from Franklin, Tennessee at a place called Winstead Hill. Apparently, this area played a role during the Civil War, or the war between the states, or the War of Northern Aggression, or whatever you want to call it. You can go ahead and pause this video if you're interested in this kind of stuff. Me, I like history no matter what it is. I think it's important that we learn from the past, or like the old saying goes, we are going to be doomed to repeat it. I don't know the history of this little park here. It's just right off a little highway here. I was going to go to Rest Haven Cemetery, but there's apparently a very large Christmas event going on. Here's something. I'm gonna go ahead and pause that as well. No sledding. Wow, what a buzzkill. And oh no, here we go. Time to clutch your pearls, kids. It's a Confederate flag. Can't really tell too much because the wind isn't enough to really blow it, but it's a Confederate flag. Clutch those pearls. Hey, a little controversy doesn't hurt the channel at all. It means more clicks. Yeah, I can be a little cynical at times, I suppose. Ooh, what's in this little box up here? This is quickly turning into a tour of Winstead Hill, which I did not really anticipate. I have to carefully go up these stairs because I torn my meniscus a couple months ago and I'm still recovering. It's one reason why I haven't been making any videos lately. Free brochures of Tennessee's back roads. Okay. Not too terribly controversial, I suppose. And that is an ordnance gun. I'd normally call it a cannon, but you know, hey. Mississippi represent. I think I'm just going to sit down here for a minute. Put down my energy drink. Irish cream. So I thought I'd do a little check-in, explain my absence, and talk about the future. Yeah, so these past few months have been interesting to say the least. Yeah, Peter Murphy, one of my favorite singers. Anyway, yeah, so as I previously mentioned, I tore my meniscus. I didn't know what was going on with my knee. I could not put any weight on it. I went to work because I'm very dedicated about going to work. It's all about survival, you know. And so I'm like, there's no way I can make it through the shift. And I work 12-hour night shifts. So that's a long shift. And so I went to the emergency room nearby in Spring Hill, Tennessee. And they said, well, you got a torn meniscus. I'm like, what the hell's that? You know, it's my knee and all that stuff. So I learned a little bit about it and learned that, you know, I could potentially need surgery on it. But I guess these days they don't really do a lot of surgeries on torn meniscus. You just kind of just let it heal on its own. So that's what I did. I created my own little plan of action, and it seems to have worked out pretty darn well. So yeah, a day or two later, I was going to go to Fascination Street, which is a goth club here in Nashville. It's a once-a-month goth club. I hadn't been to Fascination Street before, but, you know, stupid me, I decided I'm just going to go plow right through and go to it, and it was a stupid decision on my part. Should have never went. And the club itself, it's okay. It's okay. I'm used to the bigger, more gothier clubs in LA, and I really shouldn't assume that everything is going to be like LA. And I know it's the California snob attitude. I don't really mean to be that way. It's just, I'm just going by my past experiences. And it was cool. It was cool. It just was a little different. Not what I expected. I do plan on going back one of these days, but I couldn't make it through the entire club, so I wound up leaving early. I was going to do a video about it too, and I recorded an intro to the video, and I might just throw it right in here. Well, I shouldn't have done this. I bought tickets a few weeks back to go see Seraphim Shock at the East Room here in Nashville. Last night I was in the ER because of my knee. I could barely walk. Turns out I have likely a torn meniscus. Love the music. And me not wanting to waste money on unused tickets. And I decided to come out here anyway. Got pain-killing gel on my knee and a compression sock over my, or not a sock, but a sleeve over my knee. Feeling okay, tolerable, not great, not horrible, but I don't know if I'll make it the entire night, but we shall see. Anyhow, so as you can tell, I kind of made a boo-boo, a mistake going to Fascination Street. But you know, my knee is, I would say, at this rate about 95% good. I can walk pretty good and all that. It's just sometimes going upstairs, especially a long flight of stairs that I just went up, it can be a little challenging. So I was dealing with that. And then I found out also that my company, the people I work for, are putting everybody at our facility on a 6-month temporary layoff. So between January, well, for 6 months, starting in January, I'm going to be kind of, sort of unemployed. I've never gone through a temporary layoff before. And it's interesting. I'm going to get 80% of my pay. I guess, you know, thank goodness for being unionized, I suppose. Otherwise, we probably would have all been out on our butts with nothing. But we're retaining about roughly 80% of our pay, and we're retaining our health benefits, which we don't even have to put a penny into, which is actually excellent. So I'm going to be okay. Things are going to be a little tight for a few months, but I'll make it work. It'll be okay. I'm not going to starve. I'm not going to like wind up homeless or anything like that. And interestingly, at the same time that this is going on, my wife and I, we found a house. We were out looking for a home. We found a house about an hour's drive from Franklin, Tennessee. So we're in the process of purchasing that house right now. I had to put in $500 earnest money, and now I've got to pay for a house inspection and all that, which is important. You know, you don't want to buy something that has something hidden that you didn't previously see. So we've got that going on. Let me see what else is going on. There's just a few things that are happening that just I had a really bad cold, and I'm still suffering from some lingering coughs. But otherwise, I'm like 99% okay. And there was a couple times I went out to go make some videos, but the weather just wasn't cooperating with me. And in one instance, I did go and make a video, but for some strange reason, the audio was all jacked up. But not due to loud trucks like that. So, you know, that's pretty much, you know, where it stands right now. But I did go yesterday to In-N-Out Burger. They just opened up 3 locations here in Tennessee. The first one's east of the Mississippi River. Having been a resident of California for over 30 years, I grew to love In-N-Out. It's one of my favorite burger joints in all of the United States. And I know there's little mom and pop burger joints, but man, In-N-Out, there's something special about In-N-Out that I can't put my finger on, but it's good. So I was in line for about 2 hours yesterday for drive-through. It was worth it. I haven't had an In-N-Out burger for about 2 years anyway. So 2 hours to make up for 2 years of no In-N-Out. That was a good deal for me. So I sat in line for 2 hours, listened to some music on the radio, and another loud truck. Gotta love Tennessee. Love their big, loud, lifted trucks around here. So did that, made like a little YouTube short, which I posted yesterday. It's gotten like, as of right now, like over 1,000 views, which is pretty cool. So it was like my little way of saying, yeah, I'm still alive. I'm still alive. And this is like my formal notice. Yeah, I'm still alive. I'm going to be making some more videos. The one I was going to make kind of went to the toilet because of all this Christmas activity in downtown Franklin. So I'm going to have to wait for another day on that. Tomorrow is iffy if I'm gonna make a video because it's gonna be really super cold. So I don't know if I'm gonna want to go out and about tomorrow. But yeah, another thing that has been taking a lot of my time is this Facebook group called Goths Against Cancel Culture. Yeah, I gotta somehow bring goth into this whole discussion here because this is a primarily goth channel. Well, anyway, if you haven't heard about it, now you have. If you're really against censorious behavior, if you don't like the way some people go completely hysterical over things they don't agree with and decide they want to cancel you, go visit Goths Against Cancel Culture on Facebook. It's a great group. It's a public group, so you can just kind of just browse it at your leisure and just check it out. And we accept people of all political beliefs. You've got leftists, you've got right-wing MAGA types, you've got libertarians, which seems to be like the majority. It's sometimes a lot of libertarians on that group. We're over 20,000 members, which is just insane since the group's only been around, for like 2 or 3 months at this point. They've completely wiped out the Goths Against Fascism Worldwide Facebook group, which is a bunch of morons as far as I'm concerned. And if you're from the Goths Against Fascism Worldwide group, screw you. We're the majority now. We are the real majority in the goth subculture. So I've been spending a lot of time there. And recently, adjacent to Goths Against Cancel Culture, we had Jake Monroe, who is a controversial figure in the goth community, and Brian Grotner, who is with the Goth Sickles and Gasoline Invertebrate, I believe that's how you pronounce it. They were both guests on Tim Pool's The Culture War show. Later that night, there was somebody that came by Tim Pool's studio and fired off a round of shots. So, cancel culture in action, and that's the truest form of cancel culture, is trying to use violence and intimidation to silence your opposition, which is not ever what the goth community ever stood for. The goth community was about open expression. That's what it's always been. But you see especially a lot of these younger so-called goths who are talking about punk. Like, well, if you're so obsessed with punk, why don't you just claim to be a punk and hang out with the punks, not with the goths? Goth is not punk. It separated itself from punk. Yes, it originated with the punk subculture, but it separated and became its own thing. They didn't want to be involved with politics. It didn't want to be involved with violence and intimidation and all this other nonsense. It was about the melancholy, the romantic, poetry, self-expression, being who you are, not a violent little twerp or a bully. No bullies at all. No bullies allowed. We have zero tolerance for bullies. So a lot of my time's been spent focusing on that, helping to build it up, helping to promote it, etc., etc. It's one of the most exciting developments in the goth subculture in recent memory, as far as I'm concerned. And now there's going to be a big meetup being planned at the Dark Force Fest next year. So that should be very interesting. If I can swing it, I'm going to go to that. It's in New Jersey. But I've got to get my finances in order to be able to swing it. I will have the time to do it because it's going to be held in May. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be able to make it to that event. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I do plan on making some videos. I have some tentative plans to go to Texas soon, and I'll be making some videos there again if I make it to Texas. There's a couple things I need to work out first before I decide to go. I've only got like 3 more days of work left for the year. Since I work on a 12-hour schedule, I work a couple days a week, and then every other weekend I have a 3-day weekend off, and then the other weekend is like 3 days working, so like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, something like that. So I work roughly about half of a month when you take into account all the hours I put in. So yeah, and we have a scheduled shutdown at the end of the year anyway. So I've only got 3 more days, and then I'm like footloose and fancy free, as far as my budget will allow, until June. That's going to be crazy. But the good thing is I'll be able to get back used to having a regular sleeping schedule, because right now, see, I don't mind being up all night having vampire hours, but society is not arranged to accommodate for that. So in the morning when I'm trying to sleep, because I get off work at like 6 a.m., and by the time I get home and get ready for bed, it's like 7:30, almost 8 o'clock in the morning. And about an hour later, the landscapers come and they start using their lawnmowers and their leaf blowers. You cannot sleep. It's hard. So now it's like, I'm like, can't wait to have regular sleeping hours so I can sleep at night and be up in the daytime, just because of that. So anyway, hope you're all doing fine. I hope you've been having a good holiday season so far. Thanksgiving was pretty cool. And Christmas, well, it's yet to be determined, but I'm enjoying it so far. I got a string of lights up in my apartment. I can't really do a whole lot in my apartment, but got a string of lights up, show my holiday spirit, provide a little bit of joy to my neighbors or whatever. And I think 2026 is going to be a very interesting year. Very interesting. So hope you come along for the ride. I know this probably has been a bit of a boring video. I apologize for that. Maybe I can up the controversy a little bit by showing the Confederate flag. Come on, flag wave. Let's get some people all outraged and clutching their pearls and go like, how dare you show a Confederate flag? Oh no. Screw you. All of history can be potentially controversial. People say, oh, the Confederate flag, KKK. Well, you know what? Google KKK parades and events and do an image search, and you're going to find the vast majority of them displaying American flags, not the Confederate flag. So should we ban the American flag? Come on. Don't be stupid. Just live your life, be peaceful, be a good person, and let that be sort of like an influence to others. If we all make a decision to be a good person and mind our own business and do good things, then we'll have a better world to live in. But instead, people gotta bitch and complain about stupid pieces of fabric waving in the air. It's like, come on, get a grip. And on that note, peace out, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.